Good day everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylin and this is Foundation First. At Foundation First we are education about education. Whether you are a teacher, a parent or just somebody who loves to learn about how we grow and develop, this is the place for you. To continue our discussion on play, today we're going to talk about 5 ways that you can encourage play with full-time working caregivers. This is something that we experience a lot in our modern society, where all the caregivers inside the home working full-time. What this means is that there's limited opportunity for the caregivers to play with the children and provide opportunities for the children to play and overlook them when they are playing. There needs to be an adult in their environment to make sure that they are safe at all times. This is true. However, as long as there is an adult in the vicinity and is able to see the child and make sure that they are okay, they don't need to be actively involved in the child's play. Let's get started. Number 1, providing open-ended play. I know that I've mentioned this many times before, but open-ended play is the best. Children can play with the same things over and over and over again, and they can play independently as well. They don't need somebody else to be playing with them. They can have a sibling. Sometimes the gap is far too large between siblings, or they can play in these games together. So this can be building blocks, it can be Lego, or it can be boxes that you've collected over time. Children don't have to cut up these boxes to make something new. They can use it for construction, building on top of something. So many different things that children can use to play with. You'd really be surprised what they can come up with. Number 2 is drawing activities. Children can draw and draw and draw, and this is so important for them. The drawing doesn't have to be a means to an end. It can just be them drawing things that are around them. They can be drawing their favorite thing, especially for smaller children. They'll start off with just moving their hand around on the page. Please do not get worried when you see this. This is how children start to learn how to draw and color in. This is part of their development and not something that you should be concerned about. However, when your child gets older and they are still displaying these type of movements and their drawings are not developing, then I would suggest that you look further into it, because these are red flags for certain developmental milestones that are not being reached. If your child isn't developing a little bit more detail in their drawings, touching on 4 or 5 years old, then I would encourage to dig a little deeper into this and ask the question from your child's teacher. If this is the first time that your child is being exposed to drawing materials, because that is the reality in some children's lives, then please don't worry just yet. If somebody has not used something before, whether they should know how to do it or not, they will still need to start from scratch. They'll start experimenting with different movements and different colors, different pressures, different ways to hold a pencil. When they're a bit older, move through the stages faster than if they were a bit younger, because their muscles have developed and they have improved on their cognitive skills. However, if the drawings do not progress from there, then I would suggest getting a second opinion from a professional. And number 3, practical life activities. These are great. Now you've had a whole day to work at work. Now your child's arrived home from school. Now you have to do cooking, and you have to do cleaning, and you have to do folding. And how do I find something for my child to do while I'm doing these things? I can tell you a secret. You don't need to. Bring them along with you. Let them help you clean. Let them help you cook. Obviously, there's safety in everything that we do, so just be careful of what you're cooking and teach your child cooking and kitchen safety. And be around at all times. They can very much hurt themselves and make a very big unnecessary mess. Get them to help you with the laundry. Get them to help you fold. Believe it or not, 3-year-olds can learn how to fold. How do I know that? Because I've taught 3-year-olds how to fold. And they love it. The focus that goes into it. You can see them doing it and they get into the habit. How amazing. Not only have you taught your child a very important skill, they're literally helping you do the chores and they're enjoying it. If they're not enjoying it, I suggest continuing, because sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, but very often we can do it as a version of play. Children love it. At the end of class, the children can't wait to wipe the desks. They can't wait to sweep the floor. Why? I don't know. I think it's because it's a novelty. They love it. They want to be the sweeper. They want to be the table cleaner. And at the end of the day, this really helps the ladies who help clean our class. We're a community and we're helping each other grow and develop. We're supporting one another, no matter what your role. In addition to that, children then find out that the mess that they make actually makes it harder to clean. Then they realize, oh my gosh, next time I may be a little bit more careful with what I do. Maybe I won't make as much of a mess because now I'm doing this while I could be playing over there. Another way that you can encourage play in a full-time working family is sensory play. Give them sand. I know I've mentioned it before, but truly you can use these no matter where you are. Make sure that it's away from electronics. Make sure your child understands that the material has to stay in the container, and you can use sand, you can use rice, you can use flour, you can even color the rice and flour and pasta into different colors. This adds another layer to it. You can use food coloring, make it rainbow colored, and this they absolutely love. You can use water as well. They can use different cups, different jugs to pour in and pour out. And you can take a large soda bottles, cut them in half, and can be used as a funnel, or you can just have them together. And children will then play for a very long time. You'll really be surprised how these simple things that we find in our house can keep children active for so long. Hours using water play and using sand play is it actually builds their pre-numeracy skills. This is by learning the foundations of capacity. If I take this big jug and this small cup and I pour the water into this cup, I figure out that it actually doesn't all fit in there. It overflows. Why? And then they can go back in to the jug and they'll realize, well, this cup, I need to pour more into this big jug, but when I take this big jug and fill the cup, it overflows. Then they're realizing capacity and they're realizing size and how many times do I pour this cup into the jug to fill it to the top? 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Pre-numeracy skills right there. Now it's important to know the why. You can just provide these activities to your children and have no idea what is being learned. But I promise you that is just building up and developing them in so many ways. One thing that is both a blessing and a curse is screens. Something that's coming into our lives a lot more, where we have iPads, cell phones, and if you have a young child, you know that that child, surprisingly, at 2, 3 years old, knows how to use an iPhone. They know how to go onto YouTube and they know how to open it up and switch accounts. I know, crazy, but it just shows how children just learn through seeing and examples. They are really capable of learning so many things. Now, there's definitely a time and a place for screens. I don't want to demonize them completely. Screens have a place, and sometimes you do just want to have 2 minutes. Even if it's 2 hours, and that's okay. Don't feel shamed for using screens in an appropriate way. What I do encourage is to limit screen time where you can. We have all forgotten that play is something that our children need because it just is our default and it is so quick for them to watch and it's so easy for us to just put them in front of a screen and for them to be preoccupied. However, there's a lot of research that has gone into screens and their pros and their cons. These are some ways that you can get children to actually move away from screen time to instead join in what's happening or be occupied in something that's going to develop them holistically. That can set them up for the years to come. Because we want children to develop in many ways. And sometimes what happens, especially with what they're watching, can be a problem because unless we are actively monitoring what they watch, especially if it's something like YouTube. I love YouTube. This is a very wonderful place. But sometimes it goes through different things to move to something that is very inappropriate. So there are 5 ways that you can provide play in a full-time working family. If you have any questions about these activities, comment down below. If you have any ideas built up on these, please let me know. We can all learn together. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like the video, tell the algorithm that you are enjoying what I have to offer. And this will allow many people to have access to what I have to give. Please subscribe to stay tuned for many more videos to come. And remember the why in everything that you do. And in that case, consider foundation first. See you in my next one.